Well, Brighton won, Manchester United nil. Do you know, I don't even know where to start with this, half of this, to be quite honest with you. Um, I don't even want to say Brighton deserved it. They didn't. I'm going to be completely frank. They had us on toast, but they didn't do nothing. They weren't going to score against us. Look, we've played two games. We played them in the FA Cup semi-finals, and now we've played them today, and they couldn't score against us. They just couldn't score against us. Not, I'm not trying to give ourselves the credit and start saying, "Wow, look how great we are," but definitely wasn't something I was concerned while I was looking at the match. And yes, you can see they had 60% plus possession on us. We're away from home, but the curse continues. It feels like we cannot get a win away from home. If it's a draw, if it's a loss, but we cannot get a win, and we definitely can't get a win against a good team. United are concerning me, man. Personally, I want the end of the season to come now. Do you know what? Yeah, FA Cup. I know it. Final. Anything can happen. But building up to it, I don't have hope to think that we're gonna go somewhere with all of this. I don't have hope to think that we're gonna go and actually challenge Man City. And what I see is that Man City will be thinking about the Champions League. They'll be thinking about you know rotating players. They'll be tired. Their heads are elsewhere. Where with United, you know, we can pounce on that, and that's fine. If Man City makes mistakes or so on and so on, but right now I have no confidence whatsoever going into that final. Um, we play well against lower level teams. It's funny. It's like if you think back in the old Ollie era, we would beat these teams, or what we'll beat the higher level teams. But when it comes to the lower level teams, yeah, we win all of those. Yeah, you look like we were comfortable. I mean, we won against Aston Villa, and we thought, look, that was a good quality performance. But this is a game. Look, this is an away from home. When we're at home, we are a quality team. We do well. We continue it. You can see it. As soon as we go away from home, our heads just drop. Our attack was toothless today. They did nothing. The thing is sometimes the best way to defend is to attack. There was no fear from Brighton. They never feared us. They don't fear, and most teams don't fear us. But in this instant, they didn't fear us. We have nothing. We're passing it all over to Rashford, lobbing it over, offsides, can't hold the ball, pushes him to the side so he kicks the ball in the side net. We've done nothing. I was disappointed in a lot of the attack's performance. Rashford, respectfully, whilst he didn't get a lot of the ball, didn't really do anything. I didn't really see him. He kept running, and that's fine. But you know what? We complain about players running all the time and never actually doing anything, never actually changing, never actually creating, a different way of play to just use his speed all the time. Yeah, that's good in certain matters, but in other games, it's not. Um, I'm not going to go as far as saying we lost Rashford, but he's not really doing anything. Disappointed. And Martial is the same thing. It's the wasteful, slow, sluggish, not really pressing up on the pitch, not really pressing anybody, to be honest. Stood there in many times. I didn't really see him do anything. Anthony, he looked lively at the beginning. I love Anthony and his aggression. He creates a shape, a good shape for the team, where he becomes that inverted winger. He has been. He didn't really show it, but he has been showing that he can play and use his right foot a little bit more, and that's what we want to see. So people don't think about, he's going to be going on the inside. To be honest, just slightly flipping it, Matoma, he struggled today again against Aaron Wan-Bissaka. If you had to say they were going to war, Aaron Wan-Bissaka won. And you can see that, and that's what Anthony was doing, but he has been progressing. That just like Matoma, he said no, you're not going inside, and he looked like he struggled. He tried a chip, a little pass through, and it just did nothing. De Gea was able to collect it. This is what I'm saying. Brighton did nothing. We are of our own fault again. We are the reason why we have failed again. And I don't know how you get this into him. And to be quite honest, we definitely need a striker next season. That's no doubt. We need two strikers. I don't really want to be looking at half of these people moving into next season. Unfortunately, with the sale of the club, we're going to be struggling with this quite regularly. But what I do know right now is that attack was toothless. We crumbled. We crumbled. We allowed the pressure to come on us. And whilst I cannot sit here and we should have walked away with a 0-0. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. To think that we were in a situation where we got battered at the beginning of the season and our progression is that we can take Brighton 0-0 for both games. That's not progression. That's not progression. And the thing is trying to think about that movement forward is you can see it. Luke Shaw did amazingly. I don't think, he was near to being my man of the match. And unfortunately, I'll probably have to, I was leaning towards him and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but it probably has to go to Aaron Wan-Bissaka now simply just because of whatever his hand's doing, and I get it. But when you put that level of pressure on the defence is going to crumble. But they went 95 minutes without conceding a goal. It's never been our defence, it's always been our attack. And even when we're in this situation, and you think back to the not beginning of the season, but parts of the season where we've been absolutely thrashed, is that our midfield to our strikers, or our attacking play, it's not going anywhere. No one's scared of it. We are terrible at set pieces. We bring no threats whatsoever. No threat that carries through and basically puts fear into the other team. Yeah, let the ball go out. Not a problem. United are not going to do anything on it. Recently, Casemiro has been getting his head on it, but to be honest, other than that, it's no different to Harry Maguire when he's knocking it out and the ball's flying in well into the stands. Ultimately, yeah, you can get your head on it, but you're not bringing any fear or attacking part there. Disappointed. Honestly, the fear is kicking in. The fear is kicking in. Are we getting to a point where we're going to crumble more? Personally, I have a belief that it's a mentality that we will go to the likes of Chelsea and we will draw, potentially lose. Why? Because they're Chelsea. Not because they're good. It's because that's where they are with United right now. You play against someone that you should be beating and you get walloped. We lost 7-0 against Liverpool, a team that was struggling. And then they go lose the game afterwards. We are not mentality monsters. We're the opposites. We cannot put a game and say, you know what, we are going against Brighton, a really good team, away from home. Let's finish it. Let's take it. Let's take it. Sabitzer came on, and to be honest, he showed the most aggression, most willingness to actually try. Don't really know what to say at this moment. When you look at the rest of the team, again, you look at Luke Shaw, you look at Lindelof, you look at Aaron Wan-Bissaka, you look at Dalot. Yeah, good. But you know what? The attack is basically makes the defence don't look as good as they could have. If we won that game 1-2-0, we'll be like, oh my gosh, that defence is great. But unfortunately, they're just struggling. I don't know, I don't even know what to say at this moment. It's to think that we're in this situation where we're talking about a striker. I think you need two strikers. You need a midfielder, two strikers. You really need to think about what you're doing with Rashford. As much as he's had a good season, he's had at the end of the season, he's really struggled. He's doing nothing. He's losing the ball significantly. Every time he's on it, he's not really doing anything. There's no patterns of plays. There's no creating, crucial chances. There's no taking it down to the byline and crossing it back in, and someone getting on top of it. No one wants it. No one's attacking it. And as soon as that happens, they're pressing or they're counter attacking us straight away. Why is that? We're struggling. There is nothing beyond that. Casemiro should have got a red card. Should have been sent off. What was he doing? But you know what? You can't blame him. The pressure is on Casemiro because he knows how important he is to this team. You take Casemiro off, who are you bringing on? You're not bringing on anyone that's going to help the situation. The only person you could have taken off was Fred for Sabitzer, simply because Casemiro needs to stay on. Why? Because when we don't have that centre defensive midfielder there, the Casemiro experience, we crumble. Not that we didn't anyways, but we crumble even worse. This is when we start conceding 2, 3, 4 goals. It's been seen throughout the season. It's obvious. I'm just frustrated and tired of watching these matches and just thinking to myself, well, what is the point? There's no aggression. You have to ask yourself a question here, and I get that Ten Hag had looked at the game against Aston Villa and thought, you know what? Aston Villa don't play they don't play with width, or at least they won't play with width then. Okay? That went well. Why would we lose the compactness in the midfield when clearly this is where we're struggling as well? Every time we did attack, they were pouncing on us. In seconds, they were back on us. What does that mean? Why was we in that situation? Personally, this is where they need to look at midfielders, 2 strikers. And you know what? They need to like I said, look out for to see what Rashford's doing. So anyways, that's my thought on the game. Very disappointed. United crumble. Are we crumbling to top 4? Potentially looks like it. If Liverpool get on top of us, if they start going on a win streak, which has always been possible with them. Yes, they've had a very difficult season. But you know what? They have got to 90 plus points before. They were chasing Man City many seasons. They were winning Champions Leagues. They have the potential to go on a full run. United, I don't know what's for us. We should win some of these games, but if we lose a game, the pressure's completely on us. We should seal top 4. But have they got the mentality to continue that?